Well, next, with our interviews about the election coming up here at the House of Keys in September, is Paul Quine. Douglas South, of course, that by-election, remind us how close it was?
Yeah, it was, as the Duke of Wellington said at Waterloo, it was a close-run thing. I think about 6 votes got me over the line in the end. So, yeah, it was maybe a reflection of the calibre of the opponents. Michael Joseph ran me very closely and ran a very good campaign. So, it just showed that we actually generated a lot of interest in the by-election. So it was good, I think, all round.
Well, here you are. You're ready to stand again. I'm just trying to think. You didn't join any. Buddy, did you? You haven't got any boards or anything, have you?
No.
That was your decision not to do
it. It was, and you'll probably recall, Paul, when we last spoke, that I was asked the same question. I said I wasn't. This was a by-election. It was really wanting to try and address the issues which were affecting the constituency, which I wanted to devote my energy and my time to doing. I like to think I've achieved a great deal with that. I said I wasn't interested in taking any departmental appointments. So the first thing I wasn't going to do was, of course, go back on my word.
What's it been like? I mean, you obviously had this time to get up to speed. If you're coming back next time, that'd be different, would it? You'd seek something, would you?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of variables in this. I mean, first of all, we've got to see who the Chief Minister is. One thing's for sure, it won't be me. And then whether they feel that I can give a productive input into any of the departments they choose to maybe offer me. And of course, that works both ways, because I have to be convinced, of course, that I can bring something to the table. I can contribute positively to hopefully improve the operation of whichever department it may be.
Well, I always ask where you'd most like to fit in. I mean, aviation is your thing, isn't it? So was that DOI then, isn't it? Yeah,
that's my background, commercial aviation. So yeah, I mean that would be somewhere I'd certainly be quite interested to see if I could play an active part in. Department for Enterprise also. And yeah, I mean, like I say, you may remember I was on my feet fairly recently, sort of questioning some of the capital outlay at Ronaldsway regarding the runway resurfacing, the taxiway resurfacing. So, had I been around a bit earlier, I might have been able to save the taxpayer a few £100,000.
You're not a fan of the management, I take it, of the airport, particularly, and of course there's going to be some changes there soon, isn't there?
No, I mean I've got no axe to grind with anyone down there. I've met Anne Reynolds on many occasions prior to being to being a member of the House of Keys. I've always found her very approachable. She when we had various issues with the base closure with Flybe a few years back, she was excellent. She was very accommodating, to help us and to try and ease the stress that a lot of people had because of the redundancies and that came with it as best she could. So no, I feel she's done in many ways she's done a good job. It's a very difficult sort of job to do, of course. There's a quite a wide remit. So I think she's certainly done it when she's been there. She's done it to the best of her ability.
Before I come back to aviation in a second, but I want to find out, when you're door knocking, what are the local issues that you're pushing first of all, then we'll go to the national. But what are the concerns in Douglas South?
I mean, the concerns are pretty much a lot of the same ones that I spoke to last time about. We have ongoing issues of antisocial behaviour. In fact, I'm going later to see some people who have got some issues in part of the area with antisocial behaviour. It was a big thing that I made at the by-election last year, you may recall, and it's an ongoing situation. Luckily, we have some good community police officers devoted to the area. PC Graham Best has just joined the community policing department, and Sergeant Graham Corran. So I've been part of the Hills community, which encompasses the councillors, the MHKs, the police, the headmaster, Mr. Cool from Manica and Manor Park schools. So I think we've worked very well in trying to identify and then trying to actually combat the issues that are affecting some of the
So
area.
you're pushing for more bobbies on the beat, more money for the police in general?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't, I think what we've got now in the area is well resourced, and they operate very efficiently. So I think it's early days, but we're making strides in the right direction. So I'm confident, hopefully if I'm re-elected, that I'll continue with that and continue to be able to help people with their concerns and address them as best I can.
Now, national issues, probably back to aviation. You have been very keen on that subject, rightly so. You're a pilot after all. What's your ideas? I mean, open skies, you've been touching on that in the past. Are you going to push that if you got back in?
Yeah, I think.
And we're in open skies, aren't we?
We have open skies at the moment. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
if I was re-elected, something I would look to do is repeal it. I don't think it served the island well. We haven't had any accountability because of it, so I don't feel it fits the island's operation and how we look to develop our aviation links.
Right. Is there a template somewhere else that matches what we are? I mean, because obviously you've got Jersey and Guernsey doing their things. How close do you want it? I mean, in other words.
Well, no, I mean, I think, obviously what you have to do is guard against what's referred to in aviation as predatory overcapacity. Okay, so we have to safeguard what we've got now. We've got Loganair and we've got EasyJet who serve the island. EasyJet about to resume their operation to the island.
They'll hoover up wherever they can. So he's talking about that they just put it on when they can, and whereas Logan presumably are running a more scheduled service.
Well, it's different. They've got different business models, so the two fit well. So EasyJet are high capacity, low frequency, whereas Loganair are high frequency and lower capacity. Yeah. So the two business models actually knit in well. The problem arises when you've got two carriers operating with the same business model, and to be honest, the island's economy of scales just doesn't fit with that.
I haven't heard you mention an Isle of Man airline or Manx Airlines, something I think you were keen on, but as were other MHKs, but that's not going to happen.
I mean, it's a concept that a lot of people would like to see reintroduced. But I think what we need to do, is to work with a good, viable carrier, because it's a very specialised industry. People have to know what they're doing, and we have to utilise a good carrier, strike up a good rapport with them. So both of us can be held to account. So we get the best out of the carrier gets the best out of the operation, and look to develop our identity through that carrier. And I think that's a concept that's certainly open.
Besides that, any other things? Because obviously we focus on it so much with you. Any other things you want to see done? Ideas for bills or anything? Any
well, obviously housing's right at the forefront, and a lot of people have spoken to me, and the national housing strategy has to be pushed on. It has to be policy led. The government have to take the lead on this. We have to lead through policy because, we can't afford to leave it to developers because, it doesn't necessarily fit the dynamic that we want to see. We need to build houses for our younger people. Yeah. We need to make houses available for older people who may want to downsize.
But it's a free market, and it's supply and demand, isn't it? And economics is doing its thing. You're talking about the prices going up and all that, and obviously it affects the bottom end. But without putting in legislation to actually open and close the markets like maybe Jersey or something.
We have to. Well, no, I wouldn't quite go that far. I think we can achieve what we set out to achieve by good regulation. Things like the buy to let issue. It's very strong. Too many people just buying these. Yeah,
buildings.
A lot of local people are losing out. The prices are being, artificially inflated. Of course, low interest rates at the moment, practically zero. So that also inflates the housing prices because obviously people choose to put their money into property rather than put it in the bank. So there's a few sort of chains links in the chain that we have to address, but I think one of the fundamental things that the new Parliament has to do is get to grips with the housing issue, from the get-go, really.
Will you be making this again full-time, or will you be getting back behind that seat again to start flying?
I think the way aviation is at the moment, my wings have been clipped. My job now is to focus on the people of Douglas South, to represent them as best I can, to stand up and speak for them.
How's it gone for you, do you think?
I think it's gone well. I've seeked to engage with the constituents as best I can, and that's through the regular social media posts, the introduction of a newsletter for the area, and obviously getting on my feet when I can in the House of Keys, and certainly speaking up for the constituents when it's needed.
Who do you want as Chief Minister?
I think that's. I don't think anybody should be sort of corralled into declaring their sort of intention to be Chief Minister.
Why?
And I really respect that. Well, I think it could colour their campaign really, and I also think by someone endorsing a specific individual, it could either work for them or work against them. I mean, I might not be popular in other areas of the island, so if I say, I think Mr. A should be, Mrs. A should be Chief Minister, I think that...
You keep your powder dry, but people might want to ask that question, because, it's not elected by the people, is it? It is you guys who make the decision on that.
Yes, but I mean, obviously, it's not like in the UK where the party members elect a party leader, and the party leader effectively goes to the country to become prime minister. So we differ from that, certainly.
So if I said Alison O'Cannon, you wouldn't give me an answer then, or others,
The one thing I have learned since I've been elected, and it's only 9 months ago now, is that there are many people who are currently in there who would make an ideal First Minister. We've got some really good people at the moment in the House of Keys. I wish them well in the general election. I'd like to see most of them return back.